Hello again, you guys. It's Carly from the Poetry of Nice and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is a channel all about thrifting basically. So thrifting or buying items at thrift stores, yard sales, rummage sales, and then selling them online on eBay, Etsy and Poshmark for a profit. That's what I do for a living. And on this channel, I like to share with you like haul videos and sales videos and then some kind of tips and tricks and stuff in between. So this video is going to fall more into the latter today. This is going to be a research video. I did one recently where I took two items, one vintage and one contemporary, and I showed you basically how I went about like my process of figuring out what I had and how to price it. So I'm going to do that with this particular item you see in front of you. It's a vintage dress that I picked up very recently at a thrift store. I just showed it in a haul. But this is different because I haven't researched this at all. So we're really going from the ground up here. This is going to be super casual, super chatty. I'm just going to kind of like show you how I begin to figure out what on earth I have on my hands. So as you can see, this is the dress front and back. This is what I use for my thumbnail, the collage, because there's a really nice back detail as you can see. So I want to show that off in my thumbnail. And then this is the label, and this is all I have to go on. There is no size, there is no made in, there's no fabric content. This is all there is, and obviously the style of the actual piece. So obviously we are going to start from the ground up here by putting in the name. So we have, what is it? Maurice Rentner dress. You can see that I looked it up for like 3 seconds before I did this video and was like, okay, it exists. It's something that I will be able to research. So here is our initial search. So Maurice Rentner dress, that's my first thing that I'm going to put in here. And then obviously I can go more specific if I want to. So that is like a fit and flare dress or a tea dress perhaps. So I could probably put something like that in as well if I wanted to take a closer look. But I'm starting to get a feel for it already. So I see a lot of like the black ones here, but I'm starting to get a little bit of a feel for this. So I'm seeing 1950s pop up a whole lot at this point. So I'm starting to get an idea of era. I originally thought 1960s, which I kind of see 1960s here, but 1950s is obviously kind of popping up a whole bunch. So what I can do is I can click on some of these links if I want to, or I usually pop straight over to the images and just kind of get an idea of what aesthetic is out there to do with this particular designer. So I'm already seeing some things here that kind of look a little bit more familiar in terms of the silhouette. Yeah, that's kind of cool. These are so good. I love a good vintage dress. So this is kind of, this is definitely kind of reminding me of the silhouette, though I don't think it's quite the same brand. So just kind of scrolling through. Now, if I wanted to get more specific, I could probably put like, this one is a paisley print. So I could put like a paisley fit and flare dress and I could start, or just kind of like take fit and flare out and maybe hone in just a little bit on the paisley keyword. Yeah, there's definitely a few more things kind of like showing up here now. And I'm seeing 1960s a lot. It seems to be a collaboration, like a Bill Blass collaboration. Now, I did have somebody on my channel when I did this whole video give me a tip to look into the history of the company. So I may do that as well. We got Maurice Rentner. And then I guess I could just put the word history. This is legitimately what I do when I have a piece that is of particular interest. So I'm seeing some dates here. 1930s, establishes a maker of quality suits and dresses. Fashion encyclopedia. Okay, well that looks like somewhere we might go take a little bit of a look. Oh, this is so cool. You know what's really fun about this as well is just learning like a little bit of the history and stuff. This is stuff I would never have known really existed. So there's definitely some information here that I can dive into if I really want to. Let's try another little link. What have we got? Vintage Fashion Guild. Oh, I love this. I use this site all the time. So let's take a little look. So 1950s, one designers. So it looks like he passed away in 1958. Company merged without his sister and Bill Blass. Okay, so post 1958, after he passed away, it looks like his company merged, and then that was when the Bill Blass collaboration came about. So from that, I'm going to go ahead and say that my piece is pre-1958, since there's no mention of Bill Blass or whatever. This is him alone as a standalone designer, it appears. Okay, and it looks like Bill Blass took over in 1970 completely. So that's interesting. So this is a Bill Blass one here. This is looking more like mine. So it's not quite the same colorway, but it looks, let's pull mine up and like have a little bit of a comparison here. If I can remember where on earth I put it. There it is. Let's have a little comparison here. All right, yes. So I'm looking at the details here, and between the three, it looks like this one is the closest fit. So I'm going to go ahead and say that mine is a 1950s dress. That is certainly my strong suspicion at this point. So I could take a little bit look through here, or I could start looking at some of these sites that I sell on. I'm probably going to go ahead and start looking at, let's start with eBay, because that has what I would consider like a bit of a wider net when it comes to vintage items, and Poshmark's just a bit more specific. So let's go ahead and take a little look here. Like I had said before, I had a little peek before I did my haul video, but I haven't done any in-depth research whatsoever. So that's what this video really is me actually deciding how on earth to price the thing. So I'm seeing some good comps straight away. Now, bear in mind, these are just what people have listed an item for, right? This is not what they have sold for, but we're definitely seeing some good comps. Now, I noticed this when I was looking at the item, or the brand, if you like, before my haul video, that where they say Bill Blass, it seems to be that collaboration seems to be priced higher. So we have Bill Blass, Maurice Rentner, $357. Bill Blass, Maurice Rentner, $300. Bill Blass, $250. Those seem to look, right here again, a little bit sort of better off, if you like, but I'm not sure. What I'm trying to decide really is my dress, is it worth more because it is pre his passing and pre the Bill Blass collaboration? It's his standalone design, or is it worth less because of this? Now here we fall into the no man's land of not what I have. So we have a lot of like Maurice's here, because obviously that's like a contemporary brand, right? And I do not need to look at those. They are not comparables that would matter to the piece that I have whatsoever. So you're kind of falling off the wagon there a little bit. But let's take a look at some sold. I'm not going to look at the completed. I'm just going to look at the sold items. And this is only going to show, I think, for the last 3 months or so. But so yeah, we've got a lot of Maurice's here, which really doesn't help me at all. This really kind of convolutes a little bit. So 1960s, no, that's not the same thing either. And it's completely possible. It doesn't mean it's not worth anything. It could mean that it's something that there's not a lot of, unfortunately. So why don't we just take the word dress out and just see if that helps us at all. Okay, no, that was just a photograph. So that doesn't help very much either. What if we put like fit and flare? It is a bit of a mystery, you guys. Nope. Again, we're getting lots of mod cloth and things like that coming through, because that has that retro silhouette, right? It's a modern piece, but it has a retro look. That is not what I need at all. Okay, so I guess we could jump over to Poshmark. My hopes aren't super high on there. And then Etsy, I'm sure there'll be quite a bit listed. That's just my suspicion. So let's stop here and take a little bit of a look and see if anything pops up. I haven't looked on here yet. Did I spell that right? Let's make, yes, I did. Okay, let's see if anything pops up at all. Okay, so we have a little bit. So we have 75, again, that Bill Blass, 200, 150. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dive in a little bit and just look at some of these labels. Okay, so this is the she says 1940s. I'm going to say probably close to 1950s, just because of what we actually learned here from the Vintage Fashion Guild, which is a wonderful website. So I think she's more 1950s, but either way, she's looking at like, 75 or so there. But her piece isn't quite as colorful as mine. It's obviously really, really beautiful with this kind of collar and stuff, but I think mine is a little bit more unusual, and I don't know, that may help it a little bit. So we've got that. Let's look at this one that claims to be 60s. Again, when we're seeing labels that kind of, oh, she doesn't have the label. Oh, well, never mind. When we're seeing labels that are in the same kind of time frame and the estimates are the same and stuff, we're starting to like kind of corroborate, if you like, the time frame or the era that we think the piece is from. So it all kind of like pieces together bit by bit. I don't think there's going to be much of anything in solds, but we can take a little peek. There's one. Okay, never mind, that doesn't really apply. So let's go ahead into Etsy and see what we can see here, and then we can always venture back towards Google way. This one is a bit of a mystery to me though, guys. I don't know. I don't know where to start with this one. Like I said, they're all kind of all over the place, really. I've seen some of them go up to $1,000 solds, and but again, with that Bill Blast name in it. So I'm just trying to figure out what on earth it is. Oh, look, I think she's cross-posted. Good for her. Okay, let's see. So we got 135, 168. Okay, night 50. I'm going to go ahead and check this label as well, just to kind of see if we're on the same wavelength. So we've got that black label again. So what is mine without the black label? I don't know. Is it better? Is it worse? These are the questions that we ask ourselves. I haven't seen mine yet. I wonder if that means it's a little bit early. Oh no, look. Aha, look at this. Okay, so she's saying 1950s as well. I'm feeling real comfortable right now that this would be 1950s. And so she's asking 68 for this one. And unfortunately we can't look at solds on Etsy. It just kind of doesn't work that way on Etsy, but we can just take a little bit of a look through and see what all we've got going on. So I'm really thinking that the Bill Blast thing is one of the better. Mine, I haven't said that. 1960s, it looks, no, Bill Blast, I tell a lie. So I'm thinking Bill Blast means it's better, but that doesn't mean that I can't start high, basically. So I think my next step for this really is going to be looking at some of these pieces, trying to find kind of like an average asking price. Like, I'm not going to be looking at these solids, right? Like the blacks and these kind of more simple pieces. Mine is not what I would consider a very simple piece. It's very loud print. It's got the fit and flare silhouette with that kind of midi length, and it's got that really nice unusual cut out back detail, and yeah, again, that print so loud and whatever. I think that my piece is a little bit more desirable because of its cut and its print and things like that, personally. Now that is completely subjective, of course, but I think it is personally. So with that in mind, there's not a lot here either, which kind of doesn't help much. With that in mind, I think that's going to help me kind of shoot a little bit high. Let's look over here, and another place we can take a peek at is shopping as well. Sometimes that'll show us like what all is available right now. Still blooming Marissa's popping up. All right, so let me take Paisley out. I don't know why I have dressed twice. That doesn't help either. Let's take Paisley out. All right, so you can see here, I don't know what first dibs is, but you can see some of these here, obviously all sequin, but asking 1,600. My goodness, I sure hope they get it. What is first dibs? Now my interest is piqued. I guess it's just a resale site, but again, we have this like 450, similar sort of time frame for that tag. Very, very interesting. I may have to look into that. What on earth is that? Can I list there? I don't think so. I think that might be somebody's like personal site. I'm not sure, but anyway, that looks cool. I like that site. That's really nicely done. So we're getting an idea here. They're obviously shooting pretty darn high on that site. They have some lovely photographs and things like that. Let me see, 135, 200. Again, we're seeing a lot of the things still right that are up on the sites right now, although some of them may sneak through where they have sold already. That is a possibility. This one's cool as well. They've done a really nice job there showing the silhouette. So I'm definitely thinking 100 and up. That's my personal thing. I'm wondering if we should settle around 150, 125 to 150. That's kind of where I'm landing now, sort of just off the top of my head. And we can always start high and we can always bring it down. That's the thing. We can take offers, we can send out offers, and we can adjust the price as necessary. That's really not a problem. This one, of course, is very close to mine in terms of its look, but it has that Bill Blast collaboration going on there. Yeah, I think we're going to shoot around 125 to 150 based on style, and then with the designer elements kind of thrown in there as well, like who it was and the history of it and whatnot, and of course the era. All right, so that's where I'm settling on. That is what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to list my item. I already have my photographs. I already have all my measurements, which of course I've taken lots and lots of measurements, and I've actually shown them in photographs this time. I'll make a collage just because there isn't a size tag, and this is obviously a vintage piece. I want my buyers to feel very comfortable with the measurements I've taken. Personal choice. So I'm going to invite you to let me know down below, how would you price it? Having seen what I've seen here, the research, and learn a little bit about the history and what's out there right now in terms of sold comparables and listed comparables, where would you shoot for in terms of the price? I would be really interested to see what you all think, and if we sort of on the same wavelength or we differ. Yeah, and stay tuned. When this sells, maybe a little bit longer tail because of being a vintage item, when this sells, I will be sure to show you it in a sold video, and hopefully it will sell for a good amount. I think it's too cool not to, and I'm happy to hang on to it for a while until the right buyer comes along and finds it. All right, you guys, if you enjoyed this research video, please do give this a thumbs up, and if you enjoy thrifty content, please just think about hitting subscribe and coming back and hanging out some more, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye, you guys.